with a welcome address by Mr. Gopal Srinivasan, Chairman of Chennai International.
The Mohan Bhagwatji, as well as the senior officials of the Sangha who are here, Sri Mukunda, Dr. Vanirajan, Sunil ji, Shyam ji and Jagdish Prasad ji. First, let me wish all of you a very happy Pongal. Today marks not only the bubbling of the joy of Pongal, but also the first very limited scale physical event that we have had the courage to put forth in CIC, Chennai International Center. This is our 104th program, and I think 23 or so we've had virtual programs during COVID with the wonderful energy and effort of Vanita, who's been a very moving force during COVID time to make sure the spirit of Chennai and the spirit of Chennai International Center does not flag in any way. So I welcome you to the first physical program, and we resume today the physical program at Chennai International Center. We're very apt and fitting, I think, on this occasion to have with us the chief of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Sri Mohanji Bhagwat. RSS, as we know, is an organization whose core motto is service to the motherland. In fact, in their morning prayer, the Sangha, when they meet, they actually put the motherland before invoking the divine spirit. That is their attachment to service to the motherland. They are, of course, an organization which is the world's largest volunteer organization for social service. Mohanji shared with us that there could be between 40 and 50 lakh members in the Sangha itself. And not only that, but their core idea has been passed on from the founders of RSS, which is now going to be about 100 years in a few years, is the idea of making men. Their belief is if you mold character and make men, then the rest, the doing good to society, automatically follows. So thank you, Mohanji, for being with us today. But I would be failing in my duty if I did not introduce him. He is the Sarsang Chalak, or the chief of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. He has been in the leadership position of RSS for the last 20 years, one of the youngest leaders in RSS. Before this, he was the Sahakaryawaha, or the General Secretary of RSS from the year 2000 onwards. He is known, and I have personally experienced over the last 2 days, his extremely warm and humanistic approach, very approachable on any subject, very calm and equanimous in his dialogue on any range of subjects that he may be put forth before him. He's also known for the many changes that he's brought to the Sangha in terms of making it contemporary with the new age of India, including, I might add, the retirement age for the organization at the age of 75. He is known also while being very flexible in every attitude, whether it is morning shaka timing, whether it's the attire or the adoption of technology, shown great flexibility, at the same time very firm and very focused on the larger goals of the organization. Very methodical in his approach towards the outreach and including more and more and more people all across the nation and perhaps the world in the journey of the RSS to serve society. So sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation on this day and coming to address us today. This program, of course, we have limited the audience because of COVID. The first time, and even though we are courageous, we take small steps at a time. We cannot also thank you enough for the support of the Sangha's volunteers during the Million Migrant Meal. Their volunteers at the peak of COVID in February and March and April, led by Mr. Sambamurthy ji, who is in the audience somewhere, actually delivered 1 million meals in person. And the point I want to just reflect on is not only the delivery of the 1 million meals, but the daily report with one day an apology saying we arrived 5 minutes late with the meal. Even Swiggy's will not apologize for 5 minutes. And these are people who are just serving because service is its own reward. So with these few words, sir, may I request you to address us, and then we will have a small Q&A.
Sangha creates in its members. That is why I appear to be having those qualities. I am just a lens or a mirror reflecting those. In almost all RSS Karyakartas, you will find all these qualities. They are common qualities of Sangha. Sangha, everybody knows this. This is the time when everybody knows RSS. But what RSS does actually, that is still an enigma. And instead of information, people have perceptions. So the clearing of minds is a necessary task for us. And therefore, during our tours, we, all the Akhil Bharatiya Adhikaris of Sangha, we have these interactions. You see, Sangha is known because of activities of Swayamsevaks. So there are many who know Sangha in the perspective of the political clout of Sangha Swayamsevaks today. So in the center BJP is ruling and they say, oh yes, yes, so we know RSS. Many people, they come to me, RSS. You're working for RSS for 20 years? Yes, yes. I know Modi ji personally. Then I have to tell him that the other day only, I met, Mukundi was with me at Bangalore airport, our MP from Arni, I think. Arni or Audi, I don't remember. But we had Namaste and he introduced himself and then he said, but I am from Congress. So we told him, okay, if you are from Congress, you represent people, you don't represent Congress. And Mukundji said, we are not BJP, we are RSS. That we have to tell. Similarly, the service activities. Yes, a lot of service we do naturally. We don't have to try. Once a very wealthy person of our country, I don't want to tell you his name, he came to me and he said, now I have earned very much. I have sufficient wealth for 7 generations. So now I want to start some service work and I think your model is best. So please tell me about that. I told him I will tell you about our model, but you don't try to copy it. He said, why? He said, our Swayamsevaks don't have anything. Even their own generation, they are very, just they are eking out sufficient for their life. But when they see the dearth in the society or pain in the society, they go and start working. They don't think of planning and funds and nothing. It all comes afterwards naturally. For you, that is available already. So you don't copy our model, you form your own model. And then I told about our service work. So that being the case, our Swayamsevaks are running 1,25,000 or 27,000 small and large Seva projects. A Swayamsevak on his own asks some householder to lend his hall for 2 hours daily and runs there a coaching class, free coaching class for deprived children. And there is a big hospital in Aurangabad, Dr. Hedgewar Hospital. So world-class amenities for common people at low costs, and whatever earnings they get, they run service projects in the area around, especially for the socially deprived people. So that one hospital, it is I think now today 700 bedded hospital. It caters to 4 provinces around, Maharashtra, Andhra, Telangana, Uttar Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh. And how it was started, 4 MBBS Swayamsevaks, they decided we will not earn for ourselves. We will take just subsistence and we will have this hospital. And they are still there. Those 4 doctors are still there, So many Karyakartas and everything, everybody is trying. And it is a very good project. So small and large projects, but not a single pie from government. Swayamsevaks put their own money, their own time, and rest of the help comes from the society. Such type of service work is good. Corona service, you will get the account of our census of our Seva projects and the account of work we have indulged in this Corona period that you will get afterwards. But in that period also, when this was announced, lockdown, on the first day, every Swayamsevak started working. Whatever was needed, he did it. So migrant workers, Seva, that was the first thing. Then, now that period is over, most of them have come back. But after coming back, some have got their original jobs. But some don't have any job. So providing job, if they have to acquire some another skill, then training them for skills. Those who have remained behind, what are they going to do? Then again training them in those skills. All these things have been taken up again. So this goes on. So people say we are a service organization. No, Swayamsevaks are service minded. This is all done by Swayamsevaks. Sangha doesn't do anything. Sangha doesn't plan centrally for this. Sangha has taught once. Wherever there is need, you have to go and work. And Swayamsevaks do it. Swayamsevaks form necessary structures, put necessary funds, put in necessary efforts, and they work. So, if you want to know Sangha proper, you have to come to Shakha. Because Swayamsevaks do many things. They are working in farmers' field, students, labor, arts, science, everywhere they are working for the good of the nation. Because the Samohik Sankalpa, in our prayers, we say that on the basis of our organized strength, we will take our country to the pinnacle of glory. And we want to be able to do that. So we are trying to equip ourselves. That is Sangha. You see, Sangha founder Dr. Hedgewar, since his childhood, he was involved in every activity that was run for the emancipation of country. He lost his both parents on the same day at the age of 11. And he was from a poor family. His family was a Purohit family. And only source was his father's income. And he died. Both his parents died while serving the plague patients. They contracted plague and on the same day died. So after that, in very hard and poor conditions, he had to carry on. But in spite of that, he always stood within first 10 of his class. At that time, he just had passed his primary education and had entered the 5th or 6th class. 11 years, he was 11 years old. And another thing, he always participated in every activity that was going for the betterment of country and society. That spark he had from his birth. We call him Janmajata Deshabhakt, born patriot. Nobody taught him that. He himself educated. He educated himself. He used to go into the school library and read the Kesari, edited by Lokmanya Tilak ji. All these things he did. So in the matriculation, when he was studying in 10th matriculation class, Vande Mataram movement came up, 1905-6. And he organized the Vande Mataram movement in all the students of Nagpur, school students. So when a British inspector came to inspect the schools, in every school, in every class, he was heralded by Vande Mataram. So he reported, and the government clamped ban on every school. Schools in Nagpur were closed, and police started investigating who is the perpetrator. They found no one. For 4 months, continued investigation yielded nothing. Nobody spoke. So then a compromise was reached and schools were opened. Students had to offer a nominal apology. While entering the class, headmaster will stand on the gate and will ask, "You did a mistake, huh?" Then he has to, like this, he has to say yes. That was the nominal apology. But there were 2 students in Nagpur who denied. So naturally he was rusticated. And then there were Rashtriya schools running for exactly these national activists. So privately he studied in that and appeared for the examination, came in first class, and leaders of Nagpur sent him to Kolkata for medical education. Medical education was an eyewash. Real intention was he should contact the revolutionary Anushilan Samiti. That was the All India Coordination Samiti at that time. And he should start revolutionary work in those Vidarbha region of Nagpur. So he went there, in spite of all hardships. In 4 years, he completed his medical education, again successfully. And he became the core committee member of Anushilan Samiti. His code name was Cocaine. And he was given the responsibility to organize the revolutionary activities from Rajasthan to Andhra. But then that movement also failed. And when he came back, he had already decided, there he had a pratijna. Before entering the core committee, every member had to take the pratijna. He took the pratijna. Before Kali Puja, in Kali Puja, he had decided, this life will be applied only for the betterment of our country and society. So naturally there was no question of marrying, starting family, earning money. He would have earned lakhs and crores at that time. In whole of the Vidarbha region, there were hardly 70 doctors. But he had decided, and therefore he worked in Congress. That was the only political movement of Indian people, Bharatiya people then. So there was that non-cooperation movement, home rule by Tilakji. So he went from village to village and addressed people. So his speeches were very fiery. So there was, he was arrested and he was tried for sedition. In that moment, defense was not usually given. Okay, if they catch us, arrest us and try us, let them try, let them sentence us to some punishment, we will have the punishment. But Dr. Edward said, I will give my defense. So I will get opportunity for one more speech. In those days, in court, all the journalists and people were allowed. So he gave his defense. And he challenged Mr. Smailey, was the British judge trying him. He says, tell me of a law which allows the people from foreign country to rule our country. Your rule is illegal, therefore your justice is illegal. I don't subscribe to it. I have done nothing wrong. I have told people to be free is right of every human being. I have told them how to be free, how to stay free. I did not go against any society or any people or any state. I told them to be free, how to preserve that freedom. This I have told. So the judge sentenced him for 1 year rigorous imprisonment and stating that his speech of defense is more seditious than the speeches for which he was tried. That sort of person he was. But while doing all these things, he came to know that everybody at the head of all these movements, be it a political movement for freedom, that is Congress, be it revolutionaries, be it the movements for social reform, everybody thinks that the agenda working to fulfill will be fulfilled in our lifetime. But the problems, their root cannot be addressed by these. Why should there be untouchability in our country? Why should there are some thousands of British officers and we are in number of crores? How can such a small number rule such big people in their own land? So there are some basic discrepancies in our social life. There are some basic lacks we have to address. And someone has to do this work, otherwise all that we do will have to be repeated again and again in future. That is the history. Greeks, Alexander came, Shakas they came, Hunas they came, after there was aggression of Islam, then British. For last 1500 years, there is series of aggressions. And we never went there to fight. They all came here. They were barbaric. We were affluent. We had more power. We were fighting in our own land, on our own borders. But we were defeated from time to time. One comes, he conquers, he enslaves us, then some Jagruti is there, someone repels that aggression. Again, after 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, another comes. This series should be stopped, should be discontinued, and for that these ills of the society have to be addressed. Someone has to do that work. So he thought, if that is so, then many great personalities are involved in the works that are necessary here. Oh, I will address this thing. Nobody is doing this, and this fulfills everything. So, the general consensus of that of the country at that time, he imbibed that and he carried forward. All this you will find in every work by those people. So, all the great men, start from Rabindranath Tagore, start from Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Lokmanya Tilak, Gandhiji, one of the founders of the Communist Party of India, Sir Manavendranath Roy, Subhash Babu, Dr. Ambedkar, all these persons have written this or uttered this in one of their speeches. It is the common conclusion. Our society should be improved. But then how to do this? He experimented for some 8 to 10 years. And then he started Sangha. First thing, to bring together this society, is this one society? All who came from outside, for example British, thought that this was not one country. Because many languages, if language differs, country becomes a different country. There are many religions, there are many states, there are many languages, all these things, this diversity, mind-boggling diversity in our country caused everybody else to think at first that this is not a one country. But that is not so. In spite of all this, we are one. The holy religious places of every religion originated in Bharat are spread all throughout Bharat. So, Gurudwara, Sikh Gurudwara is in Amritsar, it is in Patna, it is in Bidar also. Jaina Tirthas are in south as well as in north, east, west, everywhere. All great minds which gave us different religions, they have toured whole of Bharat. And whatever they spoke, they did not give it only for their own province or their own caste people or language people. It was given to humanity through Bharat. Even Shankardeva of Assam, he sings of Durlabham Bharatan Janma, not in Sanskrit. In Asamiya, he sings the praises of Bharat Mata. we always had our holy places everywhere. So a priest from Kashi says, I will take the Ganges water and go to Rameshwaram. And in Rameshwaram, they say that we will go to Kashi. This north, south, east, west bond is there, and that bond is due to, in spite of all these diversities, same culture. So, whatever religion or caste or language or anything we belong, one thing is throughout Bharat common. आत्मवत् सर्वभूतेषु परद्रव्येषु लोष्ठवत् मातृवत् परदारेषु यः पश्यति स पंडितः. The vision, how you look at the life, how you look at the woman, what you think of wealth, this thinking is very common everywhere. So that is why I can quote, if I learn it, I can quote freely even Tirukkural in support of Sangha Vichar. I can cite Valmiki Ramayana, I can cite Kamba Ramayana, because the spirit, the bhavam that has been created by those is the same thing. So that we call Sanskriti, which is based on the dharma, not religion, the dharma which joins, uplifts. Dharana dharma ityahu, that dharma. And the set of values on which it is based are based on reality, truth, that is the existence is one, unity of existence. Ekam sad vipraha bahudha vadanti. So different perspectives, different viewpoints are allowed. There is no rigidity. And therefore, there should be cooperation and coordination. There should not be quarrel. Diversities are to be welcomed, diversities are to be celebrated, diversities are to be accepted. One must be aware of the thread of unity running through this. Sutre Manigana Iva. That is Bharat. That nature is called Bharat, is not merely a geological entity. It is this Svabhavam. And therefore, naturally, every Bharatiya has bhakti for whole Bharat. I heard that political parties here who say that we are different, we are not related to North or Aryas or all these things. When China aggression occurred in 62, they said aggression on Himalaya is aggression upon us. So, truth comes out. Tearing the political garb, the heart comes out. That is our heart. We are all sons of Bharat Mata. We uphold that culture by our sacrifice and by our behavior. And we worship, we try to follow the footsteps of those ancestors who have strived to nurture, grow, and protect this culture, this Svabhava. That is our idea. This is what we call Hindutva. In Sangha, Hindutva means this. Hindutva is not a name of any worship. Hindutva is not a name of any language or any province. Hindutva means these three things: Bharat Mata, Bharatiya Sanskriti, and Bharatiya Purvaj. On this basis, we can unite the society. And we can, by daily practice, inculcate good qualities in individual. We have done that for 95 years now. And evidence is before you. Why so-and-so work like this? They are prepared in Shaka for that. They are trained in honesty. They are trained in sacrifice. They have not been given training in health matters, how to serve the COVID affected people. No, that is not our training. Our training is to work for the society honestly. Put the society before yourself. Put the country before yourself. This methodology is something new, which Dr. Hedgewar, out of experimentation of for 10 years, he evolved this. And naturally, when a sufficient number of Swayamsevaks was there, many Swayamsevaks went to many field of activities. So we have Sanskar Bharati in field of arts, we have Krida Bharati in games, we have Vijnan Bharati in science, we have Kisan Sangha, Mazdoor Sangha, Vidyarthi Parishad, so many organizations which are independent, autonomous, separate. No controlling by Sangha. Swayamsevaks are there, they belong to Sangha. We have trained them in thought and behavior, and they apply that to their own work. This is the nature of Sangha Srushti you are looking at. The proper RSS is man-making work. As a result of that, Swayamsevaks have formed so many activities in so many fields. So, naturally, some people are afraid if this grows, we have to close our shops. Then this cannot be understood easily. Gaganam, Gaganakaram, Sagaram, Sagaropama, like that. Unless you come and test or see this, you cannot understand this. So there is misconception also. And there is mispropaganda by vested interests. So there are many questions. These questions you can address today at me, and there will be nobody else in these times who can answer authentically. I am the Sarasanga Chalak. So my answer will be most authentic answer you will get. I will not try to convince you. I will give you the facts. So I think already I have spoken more than I was allotted. So please start your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll now open the floor for questions. We request you to walk up to the mics placed on the auditorium on either side to present your question. I have also received some questions from our members who are unable to join here today. So let me begin with the first question, and then you could just walk and follow it up with more. Sir, this is a question from one of our members. He says you're seen as a reformer of RSS with many changes on policy as well as flexibility on old norms such as dress code, chaka timings, retirement age, and even stating that some policies from the past may need to change with the times. What remains as a future agenda for reforms?
This is not what I have done. This is what we have done. We always do it. Sangha changes with the times. For example, the dress. First example usually cited is half pant, full pant. We had discussions for 10 years, and when everybody agreed, we changed it. In Sangha, change proper will occur within a minute. But it always occurs by consensus. Nobody reforms the Sangha. All Swayamsevaks together, they reform whatever needs to be reformed. And basics are the same. The building you have to change according to times. There is always renovation. There is always addition. There is also demolition of some things. That has to be done. The basics. Swayamsevak, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha, that is the basic. We have to work together. And we does not mean only Sangha. It means society. Not only those who call Hindus. Gradually, this will extend to all Bharatiyas. And it will not stop there because we are Hindus. We will try for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is the basic. Sangha. This is Sangha. Sangha Chadvam Samvadadvam, like that we will go on working. By consensus, everything will be done. Vidhayasya dharmasya samrakshana. The principle that holds all of us together, even the nature and man, they are living together. The law which governs their co-living and coordination and cooperation, that is dharma. That dharma will be protected. Secondly, Swayamsevak. Whatever needs to happen will start from ourselves. And we will do it. and we will not ask any remuneration. Swayam Sevak. We have only authority on Seva. We don't want anything else. Even if we are not recognized, we don't have any complaint about that. Because whatever we do, if it becomes our credit, then a bad habit society has acquired since last 2000 years is they give contract to leaders, to organizations, to power. They say, you do it for us. No, that doesn't happen. Everybody in the society has to take the agenda further. When society has a particular quality and a strong will, then everything else, it works properly. So, that is Swayam Sevak. And Rashtriya, so we have a very clear idea of who we are, what is Bharat. These things will not be compromised. Everything else can change. Our third Sarsangh Jalak, Balasaheb Devras, has many times said this before our Karyakartas. हिंदुस्तान हिंदू राष्ट्र है, इसको छोड़ के बाकी संघ में सब बदल सकता है. So we have that permission from the times of Dr. Hedgewar. He had that dress, a feta for the officer, head dress, baton, RSS, like that, military. It was the military dress. He changed it. Later in 1942 movement, there were some restrictions imposed, so we changed our Ganvesh again. After 72, we again thought of changing it, and after emergency, we changed it again.
My name is Krishnamacharya. We are running 1,100 single teacher school, providing education to nearly 33,000 kids in remote villages of Tamil Nadu. I am talking about the present context. We are facing the onslaught of Christian missionaries as far as conversion is concerned. And you know about the Tamil Nadu government is, very, very partial. One boy of 18 years, just as they put Khadi Vastram on Periyar statue, he was booked under Gundas Act. Whereas one cardinal just to say, Hinduism only 200 years old, and if somebody refuses, just punch him on his nose. Even blood comes, Jesus will save. The government has not taken any action. Now, what is your views on that?
That happens. So, society has to come together. You are doing such a good work, so you have to also get all the society together. You are not doing it for yourself. So, you are running so many schools. The single teacher students, they come from many families. Why not those families? They come together and protest. The social pressure has to be built up against all these illegal activities. So we have to reach the remote villages are reached by the missionaries. Why not us? Why not us? That is what I am asking. You see, today now they have local missionaries also. But they started with foreign missionaries. People from England, America, Germany, they came here. They reached the villages. They lived with our people. They learned our language. Why couldn't we? That is the problem.
Thank you, sir. I think there's another lady waiting to ask.
So, holistic development, now we are doing this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan program, and has considered about 1,400 toilets from North of the last over 80 lakhs.
Yes, now we have started. We are a bit late, but we will go ahead. Don't worry. Contact our people locally. Don't go to political parties. Come to our Sangha people. They will help you in all this. And slowly the atmosphere will change. Then every political party will protect you. But that will take some years. Till that, you have to take along Sangha Swayansevaks. And many other institutions are there which will help you. Please.
Actually, it is in continuation with what? My name is Uma Anandan. I'm the Vice President of an organization called Temple Worshippers Society. I have this feeling that RSS hesitates to take on the Hindutva. Hindutva, you said it is the values and all that. But according to many of us, these values have been given by our religion. Whatever values that you speak about in society, this has been thanks to my religion, the Sanatana Dharma. Especially this temple thing, I want to know, why is the control of the government in the temples? Why is the RSS, why is it not giving its support? You say that people should get into the streets and all. It is not. They need some moral backing. And I think, especially in Tamil Nadu, which has the most ancient temples with all its properties, and as he said, the Christians who came here and they have their schools to run. While we temples, we have our temples have the properties, everything. Why are we not allowed to run educational institutions, health, hospitals and all that? We have the resources. But why are we not allowed to? I can run a school as Kapali.
Keep your question short so that I can answer.
I want to know, why is RSS hesitating to take this on to say that the temples should be run by the Hindus without the government control as a separate body, independent body like the Christians or the Muslims who came and invaded us. Yes.
So who told you RSS is not ready to do this?
It doesn't talk about it. Especially
At the right time it will talk. Acharya Sabha is talking about it. I am the invited member of Hindu Dharma Acharya Sabha. There should be one head. When you have to do the duty, you should follow one leader. Hindu Dharma Acharya Sabha is the leader. They are thinking of doing this. They will do it and we will help it. You do not ask and then you tell us that you are not doing it. That is not wrong. That is not fair. This has to happen. This will happen. And all such efforts are always aided by RSS Swayansevakas. The Acharyas know it. That has to happen, but one other thing has to happen. Those who do not want the Hindus to have their temples, why they are repeatedly voted to power? That is Hindu Samaj. Hindu voters vote them to power. Why are not they aware? That awareness is also a necessity. Because these things happen only when there is social pressure. Today you can ask RSS, you want to ask RSS this because you think RSS is a strength. 50 years, RSS was there 50 years before. You wouldn't have asked this to us because we were nothing at that time. And why we are something today? Because society backs us. It is not because our qualities. It is because of social support that you look to us. That has to be done. Please.
Sir, the youth of this country represent the future of this country. And as you rightly said, the principle of service is ingrained in the Sangh system of working. Do you think the education system at the school level needs to be changed or tweaked to bring in this flavor of service which is inherent in our system of working?
Yes, much change is needed in all levels of education. And many of the issues have been addressed in the new education policy. But the implementation is the issue. And as there was a wide survey and opinion taken by the government in formation of this policy, all those people have to watch and aid the government in the implementation also. Otherwise, there are some people who are middlemen, they can change anything. Those who are voted to power remain there for 5 years. And those who are meddling in the affairs, they remain there for 33 years. So a close watching of all these things is necessary by the society. Definitely that change is needed, and some of the change will happen now. But we have to go ahead again. And one more thing. You said our values were given by religion. No, madam. Our religion was given to us by our values. We are not Islam. Why? Our values are those Sanatan values. Buddhas, Jainas, Sikhs, Vaishnava, Shakta, all those, though their darshanas may be different, they advocate the same behavior, yama niyam. So values have generated our religions, Indian religions. Please.
I'm receiving a lot of questions, but let me start off with one. It's about self-reliance. It's about self-reliance. India is globally competitive in agriculture and also in the service sector. But somewhere when it comes to manufacturing, we have a serious problem. China has been able to create an ecosystem in manufacturing that's unmatched across the globe. And 40 years ago, Chinese manufacturing industry was almost on par, if not inferior to India in many respects. So one factor everyone recognizes in this success story is that during the initial years, China had embraced foreign capital and technology far more openly than India. So has India lost out on the race because of obsessive concern over Swadeshi?
Swadeshi doesn't mean rejection of knowledge and ideas. Swadeshi means whatever I can prepare in my home, I should not go to market for that. And whatever I can obtain in my local market, I should not go to some other market. Similarly, whatever I can produce in my country, I will be self-reliant about that. And whatever I have to take from outside, I will take it on my own conditions. Nobody will hoodwink me into purchasing this, purchasing that, giving this value. No. That is Swadeshi. Ano bhadra kratavo yantu vishwataha. So, from all the universe, good ideas should come to us. That is our prayer. So, foreign capital, whenever necessary, is a good thing, but foreign capital also enslaves. So, the Viveka has to be there. That is what Swadeshi is. Swadeshi is the Vivek. Swadeshi is the freedom of a nation to contribute to world affairs. When we speak of contributing to world life, then giving and taking is there. But there is freedom. You cannot impose. What happens? They form world organizations. And the dominant nations are there. And they serve their own interests in the name of global market. That will not do. That we oppose. Actually, without Swadeshi also, that global thing has broken down now. Please.
RSS has, supporters from all walks of life. There are people from arts, science, business, etc. But there is one walk of life which is supposed to be in the business of serving people, which is the bureaucracy and the government. Is there some way in which...
In the business of?
Bureaucracy and government. They are supposed to be in the business of serving people.
Oh, yes.
But is there some way in which the RSS can actually motivate them to inculcate that spirit if they are not already there?
I said just the reverse thing. Our Swayamsevaks are working in all these fields. Of course, we are receiving also support. And yes, we are referring from that. The other day in Kerala, I met Metro Man. Is he a bureaucrat or not? He told me, whatever I am valued for, I am clean and I am very efficient, all these things, I have learned in Sangha Shakha. I attended Shakha till my 8th class. So, Sangha works, but not with a media attention. We go on silently doing it. So, we are also training those who want to enter bureaucracy. There is a work going on in Delhi, Sankalpa. And about 400 to 500 Sankalpa members have now been installed there. They also follow them up, not merely training. What they do of their training, that with dialogue. So, gradually this will change. But anything takes some time. When you start, you have to give some time. So, we first had one shakha in the corner of Nagpur. Most of the attendees were children. So, it took so much time. We had our first karyakartas, then they went to every province, then they went to every walk of life, then there was some contact with people, and then all this has to take some time for development. So that is happening gradually, and it will happen. We have our eyes on that.
No, there was some talk from Rajinikanth saying that he is going to enter politics using the spiritual route. And of course, he backed off. But that triggered a lot of debate in the media, actually social media, that any political party that says that they will have the manifesto, that they will not allow government to control temples will be voted out. Would RSS support such a move? That the manifesto should contain a point that temples will not be controlled by governments.
Whether any political party adds that to their manifesto or not, we, on the basis of strength of society, we will do it. The temples should be freed of the government control, given to the bhaktas, and also they should be managed properly to serve the society. As in past, they must be the center of the life of the society. There should be Pathashala, there should be Mallashala, there should be Kalashala. Everything should, the mandirs should run this, mandirs should have that. So that type of reform, including the legal reform, we want to have it, and we are going step by step. First thing is, we have to win the legal battle. Second, mass awakening. And third is legislation. In these three steps we have to go. Hindu Dharma Acharya Sabha has started the first renewal. And we are all together. We are with them. Don't worry.
Here's a question from our trustee, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan. He's not here today. How can we, I think it's an extension to what you've already answered, but maybe you can add on, sir. So how can we make the RSS movement much more empowering at the village level, more inclusive at the village level, and at the same time more scientific and progressive at the village level, and embracing knowledge for the future and not the history of the past?
About scientific, there are experts in the world now coming to study the science behind RSS methodology. The result is convincing enough. We are working very scientifically. At village level, we have to go and we have to expand. We have now about our regular contact, daily or weekly, is 60,000, is it not? 60,000 places. In our country, the notified areas, municipalities to the metropolis, they amount to only about 12,000, 15,000. Rest all are our Gramini Shakhas. Now up to block level, we are there in every block and we are going to every circle. Within next 3 years, we want to touch all villages. Our shakhas will be in a group of 10 villages, 15 villages, 20 villages, one shakha. It will take care of all those. And of course, all inclusive, we have to organize the whole society. We don't want to create a powerful organization within the society. We want to organize the society. Because we don't believe in giving contract of our emancipation to a leader, to a party, to an organization, to anybody. We have to strive for our own emancipation. So, everybody in society will be taken along. But we have to go our way. because we don't want to have power, we want to have sanskar. And it takes time. Man making work is a matter of time. So you have to be patient. Yes.
Namaste. There might be Indians who feel very strongly about Bharata and India, but may not necessarily understand or agree with an idea of Hindu Rashtra. In such a situation, do you see a common ground for engagement between the RSS and how RSS thinks? Given that they feel strongly about India, do you see them as possibly allies? How would you see such a situation? Thank you. Namaste.
We see nobody as our opponent. In spite of the fact that many are opposing us. Because we don't want to have name and fame. We want to have our country emancipated. So, I said Sangachatam Samvadatam, you know. So, there is one verse. Samano mantra samitis samani samanam mana sahachittam esha. Vinobaji has commented on this. He said everywhere the word used is sama. But about chitta they don't say, Rigvedkas don't say sama. It is saha. Because they knew that opinions will differ. You may not agree with Sangha, but you are working for Bharat. That can happen. In spite of we have to go together. That is Sangatana. So there can be Matabheda, but there will never be Manaveda. That is our. So we will go along with anybody who is honest, who is working for emancipation of Bharat. That is why I called Dr. Pranav Mukherjee to our dais.
I think we can go on listening to you, sir, but there are plenty of questions. It's certainly a thought-provoking speech. Let me ask you one last question from a member, Habib Hussain. He says, it was a joy to listen to you, and the vision is so inclusive and based on the lofty ideals of the service. The love for motherland is there. Is there love for the motherland. Is there an effort to reach out to other faiths and do this together?
Other
faiths. Can we do this together with other faiths?
Oh. Because I said, Hindu means these values, Bharat Mata and Purvaj. In all these respects, faith might be different, but 99.99% of Bharatiyas are of the same design. They have only Bharat as the center of their thought and attraction and center of their duty. And values, well, Satya Ahimsa Astya Aparigraha Brahmacharya, Tapa Shaucha Swadhyaya Santosha Ishwar Pranidhan. No faith, I think, opposes these values. So on this basis we can come together, and actually we have started those efforts. There is quite a bad blood between faiths in Bharat due to some history. First we have to clear that baggage, really join together, and without any political aspiration, only love for our country and our society, thinking that all society is one in spite of language and faith. That type of sanskar has to be created first. So it will take time. But when we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, everybody is included.
So, 60% of our population is under the age of 35 and 50% under the age of 25. But we've endured several decades of the onslaught of Western liberal thought, which dominates our education, so much so that we look down upon many things that belong to our own tradition and culture, especially young people. I'm a doctor, and I work alongside, I'm an allopathic doctor. I work alongside Ayurvedic doctors, naturopathic doctors, yoga practitioners. I know how much good work they do, but what they do is very often looked at with suspicion by other allopathic doctors or young doctors. How do we change that? How do we bring about awareness among the youth about what is so good about our culture and traditions?
You see, the most craving person for our culture and roots today is a young man. The young generation is in search of their own roots. All these things you said, the education policy and all, they are created by the older generations. Young people want to have their identity. These are times when young people world over, they know the value of identity. So who are we? That is the question. And they want to return. COVID-19 situation has hastened that process. So regarding this work, we will be very comfortable working with young people. I have experimented myself during my long career in Sangha. Young generation born and brought up in Britain. In 7 days, they wanted to come here and learn the things they could have learned from me there also. No, we want to learn it in this soil. And they were very skeptical about our past, our roots, our culture. And after they came here for 30 days, they went back completely changed. Their parents were surprised. What did you do? I did nothing. They wanted to be like that. So, don't lose hope about the young generation. It will happen. Now, our days have come. The overall situation in the world, it demands the feeding must come from Bharat. So this will happen. We will have to rope in everybody who is wishing and strive harder. So it will come earlier. I will tell you, if we don't do anything, all of us sitting here, if we don't do anything, even then, the change is going to come in coming 20 years, all over the world. Bharat will change. The education policy has changed, and it has included the content of our roots and culture. The implementation is the question. But the systemic change has started to occur. People's minds have been changing now. So it will happen. I am not at all worried about future. I am very confident about that, and that is not some inkling or that is my calculation. Please. She said last, so this will be the last. Okay, last.
Mohan Bhagawatji, Pranam. My question will be very, very short. I won't take much of your time. I have only two small questions. The first question is, when will RSS be able to say that the Uniform Civil Code, when will the RSS be able to say when the Uniform Civil Code in the country will be introduced as an enabler of Hindutva Samskriti? The second question is, today this country is in need of patriotic exemplars. There is no other exemplar, patriotic exemplar, in my opinion, of Veer Savarkar. When will he get the Bharat Ratna?
These are all questions you should put to the government. We don't care about that. Veer Savarkar is not lacking that Bharat Ratna. Even if government does not give him Bharat Ratna, he will always be there for us to, as an example. He will always be there in our heart. His thoughts always will continue influencing people's minds. Bharat Ratna, where was Bharat Ratna 100 years before? These people don't need that. But yes, our gratitude must be shown by giving them the Bharat Ratna. That is right. Whenever that comes, we will support. We have, but the government has also to go very cautiously. Even if they are so and so, they have got to be re-elected. that election politics hampers their speed. I know them personally, those who are sitting in center. They are very much in favor of doing it. But if one word they utter, what propaganda tempest will occur in our country, you can imagine. So they have to go very slowly. We have to prepare the social mind. Then they can very comfortable. Why Ram Mandir occurred now? Why not in last 5 years? Why not in NDA first? Because social pressure was not there. They could do it now because they had the very thumping public support. That is the key to everything. Every change occurs first in the society, then in all the instruments of the society. We have to start in the right direction. Cart and horse will be in proper order. Then only the cart will move. That is what Sangha is doing. And everybody who is trying for this in their own way, they are contributing. We hold that if someone goes to government and says, you have to do this, we will support him also. We know it will take its own time, but we will support him because that is the right thing. Common civil code, making a law is very easy. But keeping the law is, even your traffic lights are not obeyed everywhere. So, society dictates everything. You have to prepare the society, educate it, rope in together. All these things have to be done. Sangha is doing that. It will happen.
I think one last question,
Oh,
sir.
one last question.
Hand it over to Gopal Srinivasan.
In your assessment, how is the political agenda, imperatives and strategies of BJP aligned to and in conformity with the vision of RSS?
We don't care at all. See, those people they are involved in the democratic politics. So they will always be dictated by the voters. How much they can preserve of their own ideology in that current is their capacity. We know they are Swayamsevaks. They will be thinking in the right manner. They will not be able to do everything the ideology says should be done. But I think gradually they are acquiring that skill. They have done many things. And they will do more things if they will get the chance. So, we do not expect they should agree. I mean, they should do everything 100%, whatever we want to be done, we want them to do. That cannot happen because we are free. We don't need even popularity. We can go against the current and speak. And we do. But they cannot do that. Because to do all these things, they have to stay in the chair. So that is their first concern. They have to go like that. So we don't care about it.
Thank you so much, sir. Gopal, can I please invite you to deliver the
most candid answers to a variety of questions that the audience put to you. We really appreciate your openness in answering all these questions and the way you answered them with so much of humor. The way you answered them with so much of humor and humanity and was very, very, I think, enlightening for all of us. I think you spoke a lot about Viveka, but I noticed as much accompanying your statement of Viveka, I saw another companion standing there called Vairagya. So I could see that with patience and persistence and a sense of purpose, all of us can contribute to making this great country progress in a manner which retains its culture and its character. Thank you for taking the time during COVID to do this. We're all leaving here quite inspired and motivated. Thank you so much.